It's about the I got to say, it's the stupidest thing in sports.
Gets the ball, gets back, pulls up for the win. Got it! Detroit basketball.
Oh, Holloman looks the clock, headed for the win.
Oh! The Lions go for it. The Vikings bring it. He's a pass. It's a touchdown to get him. Javi Baez, homered earlier. First one in the air, deep left field again. Yes, Tigers win! Javi is unstoppable!
This is BS Sports.
And away we go. So I'm not really sure what's going on, but it's saying my connection is unstable. I'm plugged into my router. My internet is fine. I don't understand. So I don't know how good this picture is going to look, or if anybody can even understand a word I'm saying. But we're back. We got another show for you. We got a lot to talk about, or at least a couple of things to talk about. I always say we got a lot to talk about. You know, I should probably oversell it, right? We got so much to talk about. We got literally an infinite number of things to talk about. The main thing is obviously this Desmond Bane trade, because I think there's a lot to be said about it in regards to the Pistons. But you also got some NBA playoffs to talk about. The Pacers might be on they might be on the decline right now. You got the NHL playoffs, Stanley Cup finals tonight. Game 6, Florida, with a chance to repeat in front of their hometown fans, all 13 of them. And we got to talk a little Tiger baseball. Tigers up 2-1 right now to the Pirates. Wenzel Perez with a 2-run blast to reclaim the lead. And did Zach McKinstry with a slow roller. Oh boy, he's got to get back to first base. Oh, he did. Okay. Oh boy, that was a little close. Oh my. That was really close. Why was that so close? I don't know. Hold on. What was he? Was he trying to go he tried to go to second base and then he slipped. Wow. And it wasn't a clean throw either. Wow. That's something. Anyways, so because it's the headliner, I guess we'll start with the Desmond Bane trade. So Desmond Bane, former Memphis Grizzly, traded to the Orlando Magic for Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Cole Anthony, who is the player responsible for injuring Jaden Ivey, and not one, not two, not three, but 4 first-round picks. I got to tell you, look, I like Desmond Bane, all right? I can pull up his numbers right now, all right? Okay, there we go. Desmond Bane. I like Desmond Bane. I think he's a really solid player. Last year, he had 19 points, 6 boards, 5 assists, shot almost 40% from 3. I think he's a really good player. And he's a former all-rookie. You know, hadn't been an all-star, but he's a really solid player. 26 years old, entering the prime of his career. I got nothing but nice things to say about Desmond Bane. 4 first-round picks for this guy is crazy. That is fugazi. All right, 4 first-round picks. The only way that I could truly rationalize a move like that for Orlando is if they were truly one guy away. And obviously last year they were decimated by injuries. The year prior, they really had their breakout year. Paolo Banchero, presumably, only going to get better. But I don't know that they are just one Desmond Bane away. I don't know. Maybe they are. And look, Desmond Bane is going to make them a better team. So whether they are or they aren't, they will be a better team with Desmond Bane than without Desmond Bane. They certainly did not get much out of Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. Shout out former Piston. And Cole Anthony, the only thing I really know about this guy is that he injured Jaden Ivey. My thought about this is, as far as it relates to the Pistons, this is the market now. And Pistons fans, myself included, have to accept that, okay, if you want a big trade, that's what you're going to have to pay. Cole Anthony's never been an all-star. He's never even been, on a finals team. He's never made it past the conference finals. He's never been the best player on his team. And yet, he costs 4 first-round picks and 2 current active players. That's the price for a Desmond Bane. What do you think the price is going to be for a Devin Booker, for a Jaren Jackson, assuming he's available, which, Shams Charania reporting that he's not, but, I don't know if Desmond Bane was supposedly available until he was. What's going to be the price for a Devin Booker? Or Devin Booker. I already talked about Devin Booker. For a Derek White, excuse me, D names. I get confused. For a Derek White out of Boston, Kristaps Porzingis, Jaylen Brown. Are they going to stick with him, or are they going to ride it out with Jason Tatum, despite the fact that Tatum's got that injury? I'm not saying that the Pistons can't just fleece a team, because of course you can. There's dumb GMs all over the place. There's probably more dumb GMs than there are smart GMs in the league. But only so many teams have the player that you want to get. And if you're the Pistons, I'm not saying that you should or you shouldn't. I'm just saying 4 first-round picks is a lot. And to say, oh, well, whatever, if you're going to be good, the first-round picks aren't going to matter. I agree, sort of. Later, especially in the NBA draft, the later picks become unusable. You might as well draft nobody, because the odds of somebody, especially if you're picking in the 20s and the 30s, the odds of those guys ending up being anything other than bench players, rotational guys at best, are pretty high, or pretty low even. Like that, you're not going to get a whole lot from those guys. However, Desmond Bane, to his credit, he was taken in the 30th round, please. He was the 30th pick. So to say you can't get any value out of those picks is just wrong. He was a 30th pick overall. So if you're saying, well, if we're going to trade those 4 first-round picks, 4 of those first-round picks could be Desmond Bane. Now, I know what you're also going to say in return is, well, it's like the Peter Griffin meme. It's like, oh, if we trade for Desmond Bane, if we trade away these draft picks, we might even get a Desmond Bane. I don't know if I'm totally butchering that Family Guy joke, but it's that idea of a lottery ticket is always somebody better, right? Like any lottery ticket could be Nikola Jokic, right? Like you can just imagine in your mind that, oh, this guy was taken 30 or this guy was taken late in the first round. So that means that the next first round picks are going to be that way. Doesn't always work that way. With that being said, though, I do kind of want the Pistons to make a move. And that the thing is, maybe, and this is just how the offseason is going to play out. Maybe the Pistons front office, maybe they believe they have something and nobody else knows about it, and that something is Jaden Ivey. Okay, like Jaden Ivey, when he was healthy last year, he's a really good player. I can pull up his numbers last year. Let me see. Is it okay? It's not with a Y. I can never remember if it's with a Y. Jaden Ivey last year, he had 17 points a game, 4 assists, 4 boards, shot 40% from 3. He was a really solid player. Him and Cade, the question was, can they play together? They were playing pretty darn well together. He was really good. And maybe he's their secret sauce. Maybe he's their, okay, everybody in the NBA has pretty much forgotten about this guy who was taken number 5 overall just a few seasons ago. I'm not saying that that's how they feel or that they're right to feel that way, but I can understand the logic. However, when I hear about a potential Devin Booker trade, or even I hear about a potential Jaylen Brown trade, I think, well, Jaden Ivey could be, Devin Booker. Or I could just go get current Devin Booker. Or I could just get current Jaylen Brown. Or current Jaren Jackson. I could just take the possible version of the player that I want and just get the real version. Problem is, again, 4 first-round picks. Like that, I don't know that the Pistons even have those picks to begin with. Let alone, different teams have different, sets of value. But, if you're calling the Grizzlies about Jaren Jackson, hey, man, they're going to want more than just 4 first-round picks for him. They're going to want at least 4 first-round picks and probably a young player or 2 and probably maybe even some later-round picks. And that's even assuming that you don't just give up more first-round picks to begin with. So I don't know that, like, all of the reporters are saying it's going to be a crazy offseason. There's going to be a lot of movement. The free agency class isn't very good, but you're going to see stars on the move in trades. I don't know that the Pistons are going to be a team that are involved, just given this trade made me feel, oh boy, you're playing a dangerous game. Because again, do you truly think you're one star away from being a finals contender? Maybe you do. I'm not saying you're not, but you did just get bounced in the first round of the draft, or in the first round of the draft, first round of the playoffs. You did just lose all the game. You did just lose 3 games. I believe it was 3 games. 3 games at home. You did kind of not perform in the playoffs. So I'm not saying that you have to keep your picks, or that, if you trade away all your picks, you could be, it could be Blake Griffin all over again. But to act as though it's such, like, obviously, of course, the Pistons have to go out and make a trade, and they got to do. I don't know. Again, we're going to learn a lot about Trajan Langdon this offseason. We're going to learn a lot about how he values draft picks to begin with, and how he values this current roster. Because I don't know how well they thought they were going to do this year with the roster as is. I can't imagine they expected what they got. So now things are going to be interesting. Okay, you didn't expect it to be this way. Now, what are you going to do to maintain what you have and get better? Probably going to be in a trade, but at that price, hey man, I wouldn't blame them for not pulling the trigger. 4 first-round picks for, Desmond Bane. That's a little much for me. That's a nice play by Wenzel. He got the bounce on that line drive into right. Held him to a single. What is my father texting me, Chris McCoskey? Will Vest passed all the tests. He's good to go. More of a scare than anything. We love that. We're going to love that message. Send a heart to that message. Anyways, I don't know why it's still saying connection is unstable. I'm not on Wi-Fi. I'm like, I don't know what does StreamYard want me to do? Do they want me to, like, put the router on the screen? I can do that. I don't know if that, actually, I don't know if I could do that. That might be a little difficult with all the wires and stuff below me. I don't even know. Oh, that's for the other thing. Anyway, I'm just looking at my wires below me. Anyhow, well, let's do a little bit of a NBA playoff check-in since we're on the NBA. So last night, that was a rough game, especially for Tyrese Halliburton. Scores just 4 points. Look, I don't care how hurt you are. I don't care what, unless you can't walk, literally, like, unless your leg is broken. 4 points is bad. It's bad. It's not. There's no excuse. If you're out there, you're playing. Look, you're either hurting your team by playing, in which case you should be the bigger man and say I can't play, or you're playing through the injury. So the fact that you're playing, I'm not going to say, oh, he was hurt, so he doesn't. You can't blame him for how he played. It's like, no, like, nobody told you had to play. Like, if after the first half you said, okay, coach, I can't go. Okay, fine. Just say, okay, I'm hurt. I can't play. Put somebody else in. Put McCollum in, or whoever. Is it McCollum? CJ McConnell. McConnell. Put McConnell in. Put somebody else in. Somebody who is not on one leg. It sucks because, I mean, at this point, you're down 3-2. You're going to have to play in game 6, and you might have even re-aggravated the injury, forcing your way to play game 5 when, for what? To get 4 points and 7 rebounds, or how many, like, what's to average a triple single? Like, that's not helpful. You're just a net negative. So it really sucks for Tyrese, but what's his name? Jalen Williams. I mean, my goodness. I knew about this. Like I knew about Jalen Williams. Okay, obviously he was one of the bigger names for this OKC team. I did not know that he had 40 points in his back pocket there. That is crazy. A 40-point bomb that he just drops on them is absurd. And what are you supposed to do to that? Like honestly, what are you supposed to do to that? I didn't get to watch most of this game because for whatever reason, the NBA, like I said last week, they don't want us to watch their games. You start the game at 8:30. I don't understand why. Why would you do that? Why would you do that? It's the worst. And I'm not going to get into that again because I've already done it. But in these finals, though, I mean, he's been just fantastic. Let me just see if I can pull up I can just pull up the playoff numbers here. No, I can't do. Can I do it by series? No. Okay. I probably could do it by series. Whatever. He's been excellent. He's been really, really good. For them. For OKC, that is. But oh geez, now the Tigers 2-1 lead, but you got the leading run at second and the tying run at third with one out. Come on, Mize. He's really been struggling. Like he's just like gotten worse and worse, it seems, at each start. As I say that and watch, he's gonna totally just strike out the next two batters or something. Probably not gonna happen because he's gonna 3-0 count. He'll somehow get out of the jam because I'm just talking too much trash about him. But look, maybe, and it's one of those things with this OKC team. They're really, really good. And they're not like, I wouldn't describe them as this like flashy, like super. I mean, obviously Shea is a star and Jalen Williams is a star, but it's almost like they're like the quietest stars in the league. Like I don't know. I don't get much of a feel for this team other than they're fine. Like they're really good, I should say. Like fine meaning like yeah, they're good, but they're like a quiet good. It's not like, you don't have one guy. I mean, I guess you have Shea who's the MVP, but he doesn't really overshadow the other players on the team. I don't know. It's like I just can't really get a feel for this team as opposed to last year for Boston, where you kind of felt like, okay, you had the Batman and Robin of Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. There was always this Joe Mazzulla as a character. Like I don't know much about this Thunder team. That's not me being, that's not me being. I don't watch a lot of Thunder basketball. Usually they don't have their games on in Detroit, and even if they do, it's because they're playing Detroit. But yeah, I don't know. It's just like they're a weird team in my mind. Like they're really, really good, but it's weird that they are really, really good. You know what it is? It's kind of like, and I'm not saying that the Tigers are going to win the World Series this year, but it's kind of like this year's Tigers, where it's like, yeah, they're really good, but I don't get it. Like they didn't make a big splash really on any of the offseason. They got Isaiah Hartenstein, Alex Caruso. Those were like their big, offseason additions. Other than that, it's, Chet Holmgren was a draft pick. Jalen Williams was a draft pick. Shea was a trade. So I guess you had that. But Shea was a trade when it was like they were selling off Paul George. So it's like they pick up a young player and he ends up being future MVP. Shout out Doc Rivers. Like that's wow. I mean, that's how that man continues to have a job in Milwaukee is beyond me. It's beyond anybody, I think. I don't know how to explain that. But anyway, that's enough about that. I don't have much more to say. Speaking of leads and potential series clinching, the NHL playoffs, Panthers, they're up 3-2. Their game starts in about an hour or so. Probably less than that. I just got to say this, all right? The Panthers have pretty much murdered the Oilers all series. I mean, I saw a stat. They've been leading the series for like 200 minutes to the Oilers like 30. That's like one period worth of leads, and the Oilers are still in this. Like it's game 6. They got a chance to force 7 and go back to Edmonton. But my thought is this: Edmonton doesn't have it. And that is not sports analysis. I'm not going into the numbers. I'm not getting into the advanced stats. They just don't have it. I don't know what it is. I couldn't point to you specifically what it really refers to. But whatever it is, they don't have it. They're constantly playing from behind. And even in their 2 wins, like in I think it was game 1 they lost. They were down 3-1. They managed to come back from that. Then in the other one, they were down 3-0 on the road. They come back and they win it in overtime. I think the first game they won in overtime as well. Like they've never won a game in regulation this whole series. I don't know if Panthers have. The Panthers. What am I talking about? Of course, the Panthers have won a game in regulation this series. But it's just like they are constantly playing from behind, whereas Florida is just beating the hell out of them. Like, even when they lose, they're beating the hell out of them. I mean, they're going for Skinner as the starting goalie. And then they're like, no, we're going to go with the other guy because the other guy kind of helped us win that one game. And then he gets lit up. And I'm like, okay, we got to go back to Skinner. It's just a disaster. And, I love it. I love it because here's the thing. And this might get me in some trouble, but I don't care. Canada, we love you, right? You're our country to the north. As a Michigan man, a man from the Detroit area, I've been to Canada a couple of times. I've visited our neighbors to the north. We're very amicable. Everything's fine. And then you started booing the national anthem. And then you started getting all high and mighty. And then I thought, oh, is that how it is? Because then you win the little Four Nations Cup, and they're jumping around, feeling like they're on top of the world because they won some made-up tournament. And so, you know what? Fine. We'll just keep winning your Stanley Cup. We'll not only be better at your sport than you, we will win it in a state where you cannot have ice outside. You cannot play hockey outside in the state of Florida. It's impossible. It's not just impossible in theory, it's impossible in principle because Florida is very hot. So normally I don't root for dynasties. Normally I root for, another team to win. This is the one time where I've broken this rule because I'm like, Canada, you can't. You got a little comfortable. You got a little antsy because because of political stuff. We're not going to get into the political reasons. But nobody doesn't have anything to do with the fact that you don't have to boo the national anthem. That's a line crossed. We never booed your national anthem. All right? And if we did, it's because you booed ours first. So, you hate to see it. And it's even better when it's Connor McDavid, the chosen one, the next coming of Wayne Gretzky. He's going to be a free agent in 2026. I'm not saying that he's going to leave because why would he? If you're Edmonton, you are working on that contract the day the season ends. One way or the other, you are working on that. You're making him an Oiler for life because he's the best player in the world. You can't, in good conscience, let that man walk. But if he loses another Stanley Cup, I'm just telling you. Not saying what will happen. Just saying, it don't look good. It's not a good look to be down, to be 0-2 in the Stanley Cup against the same team. Not a good look. Although I do like there's a little bit of a rivalry budding between these two teams. I like that they're kind of beating each other up. It's kind of fun. It's good. It's good to have some sports rivalries back. I guess a lot of these things do form when you have teams that are just above and away better. Like, Edmonton, best team in the West. Florida, clearly the best team in the East. It's kind of fun. Reminds me of back when the Red Wings used to be good at hockey, but that's not going to happen for a while. So, meanwhile, Tigers are down 3-2 to the Pirates at home. we'll get into it. I'm gonna just watch at least the final out potentially of this inning here. Torkelson's got a 2-0 count. Come on, you got to swing at this. Aim for the fences. Come on. Okay, he takes a strike. Why? I would have given him the go, but what am I? I'm just a guy. I'm just a guy watching the game. I want him to swing. I want to see a home run. These fans want to see a home run. Y'all better not lose to the freaking Pirates at home. You lose them at the road, okay, fine. And even that is not satisfying, but you can't lose to the Pirates at home. Unless you just win the 3-game set, which, given the weather the next couple of days, I'm not sure that that's going to happen. It's supposed to thunderstorm, at least here. Maybe it's not going to thunderstorm in Detroit tomorrow, but if it thunderstorms here, it usually thunderstorms there. So, okay, nice foul. See, every time I see Torque swing, I'm like, oh, I want to see the ball just fly. He has a double already. He has a double, and he's a run scored too. He's had a really good year. I mean, there's no doubt about it. Oh, smoked right to the third baseman. Not a bad piece of hitting, but dang. And you know what's even worse? It's one of those runs is because of that error. Because Javi Baez threw to second base for some reason. I don't know what he was. Was that Jamer Candelario? Was that just a random Jamer Candelario? Is he still in the league? There's pictures of him on the Reds. He's on the Reds. Oh, he's a negative WAR this year. Oh boy. Jamer Candelario. Yeah, he played for the Reds this year. He played for the Reds the last couple of years. He was a negative WAR player. Wow. Man. I remember he was one of our better players several years ago. He led the league in doubles. 42. Random. Yeah, that 2021 season really is kind of an outlier. That had a 795 121 OPS plus. I guess he was decent in 23 as well. Yeah, that's right. He was pretty good with Washington. I remember because we didn't have a third baseman and Jamer Candelario was tearing it up, and I remember that being a conversation. So there's that. Speaking of hitters, I want to just briefly talk about this Rafi Devers thing. Rafael Devers gets dealt to the Giants, a couple of prospects in that deal. Is this a missed opportunity to get a third baseman? I kind of feel like it could have been, but feels like Rafael Devers was a little bit of a cancer in that locker room. Since they've traded him, the Red Sox, I don't believe, have lost a game. I'm pretty sure they've been on a win streak since they traded him. However, Rafael Devers is a really good player. So it's like okay, yeah, I don't know why it just sort of it just went bad quickly for him in Boston this past year. But I mean, he leads the league in walks. He's got a 153 OPS plus. He's always been a really good player. He's a multiple-time All-Star. Yeah, like he's won the World Series. He's a really good hitter for them on that World Series team as well. He's a Red Sox legend. Like, he's just a really good player. But I don't know. They just couldn't work out for him. So now he's off in San Francisco, and suddenly the Giants are a lot scarier with him on their team, presumably. However, the little wrinkle on this is one of the things that kind of made it weird with him was he wanted to play, I believe he wanted to play third base. And then they signed Alex Bregman. And he was like, well, I'm not playing third base. And they were like, no, you're not playing third base. So he was designated hitter. And, today, I believe he's going to be the designated hitter for the Giants. But I even saw a quote of his where he said, I'd be willing to play anywhere. Seems like it might be a little bit more than just the position then for Rafael Devers. So I don't know. I mean, we'll learn a lot about him in his, when he's on the Giants formally. We get more of a sample. But I just thought it was kind of weird. And I would have loved for the Tigers to get him. I don't know that he was really, he was available in as much as he got traded, but I don't know that he was available like, people were, like the Red Sox didn't really make it known that he was available. They were probably just, hey, we'll see what we can get from the Giants. I don't know. They were a team that had maybe some prospects they liked, and so they called up and saw what they could do. So it's a good move for the Giants, and it might be a good move for the Red Sox because they've been kind of on a heater since getting rid of him. So is what it is. All right. 1-2. Oh, it's foul ball. It's foul ball. Okay. I was going to say, don't tell me that Frazier just hit a double. Come on now. Okay. Come on. Come on, Casey. 3 runs. It's not that bad, but it's not that great either. It's like, what happened to Casey? He's just, granted, one of those is not an earned run, but still, like, just get this final strikeout, please. Would you? Recently, as in earlier today, I was watching some old Tiger highlights, and they showed, it's like the standard highlights. And it's so crazy now watching the games in Comerica Park and seeing the new, like the brick and the new home plate seating and everything. It's like, wow, that's weird. And even the no keyhole, like the no dirt path on the mound. Crazy. And hey, maybe that was the whole thing. Maybe they just had to get rid of that and then they'd be really good. But I don't even know what. Hold on, they were showing something, and I was trying to read, showing something on the broadcast. I didn't understand what they were doing. Anyway, some sort of riddle involving Al Kaline. Anyway, so speaking of the Tigers, we got to talk about them because, all right, look, last week started off pretty good. Took 2 out of 3 from the Orioles on the road. Very fun. They did get blown out in that middle game, but we're gonna just let that one go. That's fine. And then they blow out the Reds on Friday night, and I'm feeling good because okay, all right, this is just we're gonna get 3rd series win in a row. Let's get back on track here in the month of June. Then they get blown out on Saturday, and then they kind of get blown out on Sunday. You get the day off now. You're down 3-2 to the Pirates. Now, again, the result of the game is pending, so Tigers might be able to come back. They're certainly capable of coming back. It's the Pirates after all. But look, we're over halfway through the month at this point. And I said going into this month, this is a month where you can really take advantage. You can get up double digits in this division if you can, just steamroll through these very poor competition teams. Pirates at home is a series you should absolutely win 100 times out of 100. Like, you're the best team in baseball. You're playing a team that's in last place in its division that has, like, 2 good hitters. Like, you should win this series every single time. However, the injuries are starting to become a factor. Now, I wrote down Vest, but apparently Vest is okay, so we're good. Reese Olson, he's missed significant time. Jackson Jobe, he's out for the year. Matt Vierling, I don't know when he's coming back. He came back and then he went back down. Like, I don't know if he's going to be reliable. Like, you're relying on, and to their credit, they perform well. You're relying on Wenzel Perez and Jahmai Jones, both guys who have been pretty productive. But on top of that, you're seeing some amount of struggles from Spencer Torkelson in the month of June, especially. I think his OPS in the month of June is around 700, maybe below it. I have to look at the numbers here. Let me actually go ahead and do that really quick. 40-man roster. I could pull up his numbers real quick here. I can get his last 30 games. I don't know how many games they played in the month of June, but it was roughly going to be a month. His last 30 games, he's batting .221. That's a 775 OPS his last 30 games. You go a little below, last 15 games, He's got just a 737 OPS. I'm doing the math here because for whatever reason the stat page on MLB.com does not give OPS. It gives on base and then slugging, and you can't. It's just like I have to mash the numbers together. Granted, I mean he's been better the last 7 games, batting .261 with an over 800 OPS. I'm just saying, there's cause for concern. I'm not beating up on Spencer Torkelson, guys. I love Spencer Torkelson. It is what it is. Javier Baez has kind of struggled a little bit as well. Kerry Carpenter has struggled. Like Parker Meadows has kind of not looked great. All right, I mean let's just put it the way it is. He's played 15 games. He's got a 140 OPS or a 140 average. That would be terrible if that was his OPS. He's got like a 400, maybe 500 OPS. It's 43 at bats. I'm not losing my mind, but Parker, if this team is to have offensive success, you're gonna need production from Parker because he's so good defensively that you're not gonna bring him down. But man, I mean, if he is just a net negative, and I don't know that he will be, but it reminds me, last year, start of the season for Parker Meadows, he was absolutely terrible. Goes down to AAA, comes back up, and he tears it up. That's like well above 300, 800 OPS, the whole shebang. But you can't come up. I mean, obviously, he didn't go through spring training. He was hurt all spring. He finally comes back. It's like the world comes at you fast, Park. And, you can't say that, oh, well, he still needs to get some experience. He's 25 years old and, not his first major league season. And he's been in the majors since 2023. So you can't say that it's just, trying to get his sea legs. He's had plenty of major league experience. So it is what it is. But a look ahead here of the schedule, you still got the Tampa Bay Rays on the road. You're going to come back home for the A's and for the Twins. If you can, you got to kind of get it together before that Twins series. They're not right behind you because you're still, like 8 games ahead? Yeah, you're still 9 games ahead in the standings because everybody in the AL Central wants to lose baseball games right now. I mean, currently the Royals are on a losing streak of 6 games, which is shout out Royals. The Twins are on a 4-game losing streak to their credit as well. But you really, maybe it's just the AL Central right now is just kind of in a in a division-wide slump. But you're playing, I'm concerned about it with the Tigers because you're playing the Pirates. Okay, you're playing the Reds. Those are, look, no disrespect to those teams, but I'm going to disrespect them. They're terrible. They're poorly run organizations. They're constantly rebuilding. They never are good. My whole life, pretty much, the Reds and the Pirates have always sucked. You got to beat those teams. The Rays are a much tougher team. You're going to have to play them in their house, quote unquote. Not really their house. It's their rental. They're moving. They're in between places. You're gonna have to play the A's. You're gonna have to play the Twins, and that's just in this month. You go into July, you got a road series, or you got a road stand that's not gonna be easy. The Nationals on the road, the Guardians on the road. Look, are the Tigers capable of beating anybody in a 3-game set? Yes. Are they playing kind of below the standard that we had gotten used to the first couple of months of the season? Also, yes. We shall see, but I think there is a little bit of concern, and I think the injuries might start to pile up. If you lose, thank goodness Will Vest is okay, but if you lose Tommy Kahnle, if you lose Brant Herter, if you lose Will Vest, like mentioned before, okay, now you're looking at a pitching staff where your bullpen is not all that reliable because you already are down 2 starters. You're already down Job and Olsen. You're throwing Sawyer Gibson Long out there. Fine prospect, might develop into a decent pitch or a decent pitcher. But, again, it's a little bit of trial by fire. Like Jack Flaherty kind of came down to earth in his last stand. I don't know that's who he's going to be. Casey Mize has kind of come down to earth. You got Scooble and some decent guys, but not Cy Young guys. Again, we'll see. It could, things could develop, things could get better or worse. Guys could come out of nowhere and take over. You get Dylan Dingler still hitting. Wenzel Perez is playing very well. Riley Green is still Riley Green. You still are a good baseball team. And all things considered, you're probably, hopefully, going to still win this 3-game set against the Pirates. And even if you don't, it's a 162-game season. Your team is allowed to slump a little bit. Last year's Dodgers, the World Series champs, lost to the Tigers on the road when the Tigers were not a very good team. So it's not, raise the alarm bells. But it is, let's get it together, guys. It's one of those, okay, we're not gonna yell and scream, but we're gonna say, hey, I noticed there's a little bit of a slack. Let's just get back to fundamentals, get back to winning baseball. These are teams that are below you in the standings, that are below you in pretty much every statistical category. Let's not let the opening first 2 months and a half be for nothing, right? So, yeah. Go Tigers, but let's be better. Okay. That's pretty much it. Throughout the whole show, I had this little connection is unstable. I don't know what that's going to, if that did anything to the video. I hope it didn't do much. But anyway, I don't know why I was doing that, but that's the show. So with that being said, I do appreciate anybody for stopping by and listening in. Again, it was a shorter show. We didn't have much to talk about, I guess. We'll be back next week, break down all the sporting news of the week. We'll have NBA champs at that point. We will have NHL champs at that point as well. So we'll have everything. We'll have the end of and maybe even potentially the start of the offseason for the NBA coming up and the draft coming up. So, and look, I got to tell you, I've been getting the football itch for like at least a few weeks at this point. Like end of July, Hall of Fame game can't come quick enough. I'm ready for some football. I love baseball and I love basketball, and I'm glad that the Pistons had a little bit of a postseason run there. And I'm glad the Tigers are doing really good. But I need football, man. I need it. I crave it in my bones. All right. I need it. All right. Can I just have that? I even crave a little bit of Michigan State football, believe it or not. Jonathan Smith has been doing some nice stuff in the recruiting trail as of late. A lot of recruits, 3 stars and above, have been committing to Michigan State. So I've been like, okay, all right, Jonathan Smith, let the man cook. Let's see what he can do. If he can have a nice recruiting class, maybe we can finally have a decent product in East Lansing. I'd like to be able to be good at football in both my professional and my college team, but I have not been able to have that. So anyway, that's the end of the show. Thank you, anybody, for stopping by and listening in. I'll see you all next week. See ya. Goodbye. See you later. Goodbye. See ya.